What's up, JC Youth and families? Welcome back to JC Youth Online Week 3.
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now. It's Corona time.
So like we said, welcome to Journeys Crossing, JC Youth Online. I'm Scott, and if you've never met, I'm the youth pastor at Journeys Crossing. How are you? Like seriously, I really want to know. In fact, why don't you text me right now, look at the slide, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you? 1 is totally okay, love God, love people, I live underwater in Atlantis and Corona can't touch me. 10 is someone spoon feeding you straight coronavirus right now. So 1 is totally good, 10 is you're being force-fed coronavirus. Text me now so we can come and help you at the number on the slide, 585-317-2179. Do that now. Okay, so this is the third week in a row that we are not face-to-face because of coronavirus. All right, so are you guys staying home? Please tell me you're staying home, right? What are you doing? Are you playing games? Have you played anything on Jackbox? Have you played something on Steam? What have you done? Maybe have you played Pictionary? Maybe you've played Pictionary and maybe you've played it with your 3-year-old sister. No? Well, I'd hate for you to miss out because it's a great experience. So you're going to need a piece of paper for this and something to write with because we're going to give you this experience. This is 3-year-old Pictionary. Okay, so here's how you play. We're going to put up a slide with a Pictionary picture drawn on it by a 3-year-old. And you have to guess what clue someone gave the 3-year-old to draw. So, for example, this first slide. Is this A, a vampire, B, an angry cow, C, Calfast Sunstrider, master of the Burning Legion? And then you'd have 5 seconds to guess, and then we'd let you know that yes, it's a vampire. Yeah, make sense? Okay, so have you got your paper and something to write with? All right, we'll give you a second to do that. Nice. Okay, let's start. First slide says this. Is this A, a crow looking for trash to eat? B, a T-Rex with abnormal stick-like growths on his snout? C, a yawning deer? You've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay, so this is obviously A, a crow looking for trash to eat. Did you get it? Did you get it right? Next, 2. Is this A, a zombie rabbit? B, a happy bat? C, this is you, Daddy. You've got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay, so this is obviously B, a happy bat. Did you get it right? Next! 3. Is this A, a 3-horned goat, B, Grondark, lizard king of the north, C, a dancing gecko? You got 5. Yep. It is C, a dancing gecko. Good job. Next. 4. Is this A, friendly centipede, B, a superhero cat fighting bad guys, C, coronavirus? You got 5 seconds. Nice. Okay, clearly this is B, a superhero cat fighting bad guys. Yes? Good. Next. 5. Is this A, some sort of quail, B, a T-Rex named Scott, C, just a plain old duck? 5 seconds. 2, 1. Yep, it's just a duck. It's just a duck, that's all it is, duck. Next! 6. Is this A, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle drinking a smoothie, B, mommy drinking her coffee, C, Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 3? 5 seconds. This is C, Tom Cruise. Can totally see it. Next, 7, is this A, the sun blasting rays of death on unsuspecting beachgoers? B, a creepy octopus giving a hug? C, Spider-Man? 5 seconds. Yep, this is A, the sun blasting rays of death on unsuspecting beachgoers, because of course it is. And last, next, number 8, is this A, President Donald Trump? B, a Yeti singing opera? C, Batman with a beard? 5 seconds. This is Batman with a beard. Nicely done, everybody. Who won? Well, we're going to find out later in the debriefing groups after youth group. So if you don't know what debriefing groups are, since we're not face-to-face together, we do the next best thing. And in the description of this video is a link for you to join us today at 12:15 after this video is over online in a live video chat. So check the description of the video and you'll find the link to the chat at 12:15. There we'll figure out who won the game. So download the whatever app you need to. And just wanted to say congrats to last week's game winner, Katie Downey, who scored 163 points in the coronavirus challenge and is going to win a $20 gift card to Chick-fil-A. Congratulations, Katie. Good job. Okay, so let's start out this morning. We're really not starting. We're continuing the morning. But let's continue the morning by being really good friends to each other and answering this question. What's the best thing you've watched so far in the last couple of weeks on Netflix or Prime? What's the best thing you've watched? Go ahead and text me. I'll make a list of good things for you to watch. 585-317-2179. Text me the best thing you've watched over the last couple of weeks. Ready, set, go.
Heaven and earth the crib, still in the field, tryna go kick the squeal. I'm on the grill, tryna go flip the reels. Lot of respect from vets, I told you we next, I'm calling my deals. Waited around for numbers to lead a house, they running the spot. Used to go judge some money when I was in Stevenson, then we got caught. Now I believe in Jesus, why would I not? Even though that what I said, they shaking their head, but get what I got. I got the faith with me for real. Give me the plate, the grace, the meal. Look in the sky, the bit reveal. Give us some doubt to make the deal. He got the sky. I'm with the guy from Planet.
Hey guys, thank you so much for doing that. I will compile your responses and send them out to everybody so you guys have some things to watch. If you're watching us today on Sunday the 29th at 11:15, get into the live chat. We're chatting right now, and stick around for the end of this video to get all the ways you can connect to us this week. There are a lot of them, and they're all at the end of the video. So keep an eye out for that. Stick around. It's our last week of the Choose Your Own Adventure series, and we've come a long way in the last few weeks. The journey is almost over, which is crazy to think about. But when you're approaching the end of a great adventure story, there is nearly always one last battle. Remember the first time you saw that scene, like how it felt to watch that scene? When we watch the end of adventure stories in movies or like on TV, or like at the end of Avengers Endgame, we might feel a little bit of stress, like your anxiety level goes up because you expect your heroes to win, to save the world in the end, but you don't know who's going to live or who's going to die, how it's going to end up for each character. So whether it's Grondark, Lizard King of the North, or a superhero cat, or Captain America, we want our heroes to win. But what we're finding out right now is that in real life, battles don't end like movies. And outside of the movies, the world's problems aren't guaranteed to have happy endings. There are a lot of people going through coronavirus right now who are not going to have happy endings. And we balance that with the fact that the world needs help, the world needs saving. And just like in every great adventure story, there's got to be some heroes. And we feel that right now. For the last few weeks, we've been on an adventure, sometimes a scary one, And we don't know how it's all going to turn out. And maybe you're scared. And I get that. Because sometimes the lifelong adventure of knowing and following God gets scary. And when you align yourself with him, you've got to kind of understand the idea that Jesus came to save the world, not himself. And he's calling you to be on mission, to help with the work. And that's a pretty exciting, but sometimes a pretty scary adventure too. Okay, so I want to take a look at some of Jesus' last recorded words before he died and rose again. And just before he said these words, Jesus had been telling parables, which are stories with a message. And this was about his kingdom. And whenever Jesus was talking about his kingdom, he was talking about the way that the world should be and how things actually are when he's in control. And then he tells this next story, and it's about when Jesus will come back again. And that's typically called, a lot of people call it, the second coming, right? He's come once to the earth, now he would come again. And it's kind of like Jesus just winning. Like Jesus just ending everything and winning and taking all of his people to be with him where he is. Now, I want to give you a heads up because in this story, you're going to hear about sheep and goats. And he's actually not talking about sheep and goats. He's not talking about like farming or anything. Jesus liked to use metaphors to represent, so like pictures, word pictures to represent things. And the sheep and goats represents two kind of people that Jesus is going to be talking about. So this is Matthew 25, verse 31. And here's what it says and following. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates sheep from the goats. He'll put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. And then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the sheep, the righteous, will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go visit you?" People in this story were confused, but the king will reply, says, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." And then the king will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you didn't clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you didn't look after me." And they will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and not help you?" And he will reply, "Truly, I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." Then the people on the left, they will go away to eternal punishment, but the people on the right, the righteous, will go to eternal life. This story is commonly thought about as a story about two groups of people. And God invites the first group into his kingdom, and the question is why? And it's really because Jesus says that they cared for him when he was sick and fed him when he was hungry, but they didn't even remember doing that for Jesus. Like, when did they ever do that for Jesus? And then Jesus said the other group, the ones on his left, were not welcome because they never cared for him. They never fed him. They never visited him. And those people didn't remember not doing that for Jesus. In fact, they didn't even remember seeing him in need. Now, there's a lot we could talk about, like the second coming. We could talk about all of those things and eternity and all of those things. But today I want to take a look at what it says, what this passage of scripture, what this story says about life right now. It says that Jesus asks us to care for the least of these. And he's actually so serious about wanting people to care for the least of these that he says that when we love the least of these, right, these people, it's just like loving him. And kind of conversely, not loving them is like not loving him. So as Jesus' followers, Jesus says we are supposed to look for things that aren't like they should be, that aren't like they are in his kingdom, and then work on repairing them. And that's a part of God's mission to save the world, and that's the mission that Jesus invites us to be a part of. In the book of James, Jesus' brother has a few other things to say about this. James is a really practical book that helps us turn our trust in God into actual living, like doing, action. And in James 2:14 through 19, it says this: "What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have trust in God or faith, but has no deeds? Can such a faith save them? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, keep warm and well fed,' but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it's not accompanied by action, is dead. But someone will say, 'You have faith and I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by my deeds.' You believe that there is one God. Good. Even the demons believe that and shudder." According to James, our faith in Jesus is worthless if it's not paired with action. And James reminds us about what Jesus commands here, to care about the least of these. And you know what's really interesting? Jesus, James, neither one of them puts any kind of limit on the kind of person who's asked to do this kind of work, to be on mission. In fact, there's nothing that says you can't change the world now, that you have to wait until someday, or when you're a grown up, or when you've been following Jesus for a long time, when you've got your trust in Jesus figured out. When Jesus tells us to change the world by caring for those in the greatest need, he isn't talking about someday in the future. He's talking about today. So what can we do today to help things be like they are in his kingdom? The truth is, you have the ability to change the world through the love of Jesus, and that's today. You can choose to care for people. You can help solve problems. And maybe one of the things you need to do is just stay home right now, because the kindest thing that we can do is stay out of a place where we're going to catch coronavirus and spread it around. The world right now needs Christians who'll be wise and socially distance themselves to be safe, but will also be brave. And for the next long time, probably, you will be able to find someone in need of your help, as long as you're willing to look. Because don't you want to help? Like, don't you want to be part of what God does to help the world know him? When you were little, you probably tried to be a superhero, right? You probably played dress up as a superhero. You invented stories about saving the world. You probably don't do that anymore. But I'm guessing, because you're a Generation Z student and that's something that your generation just does, you want to make a difference. You want your life to mean something. You want to partner with God to do something good. And that's really good, because that was given to you by God. And caring for others, when you do that, it makes you grow. When you decide to live and give your life to protect people, to love people, to care for people in need, you will be surprised to see how much your life changes. I think you're going to see that you're going to grow in like compassion, in generosity, in love, and probably in your closeness to God. So the question that we're kind of leaving you with today is, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to really look at the needs of others? Are you willing to get a little uncomfortable and maybe stay home? Maybe you've got to make some sacrifices. Maybe your boredom is going to help people to live. And could that help you have a deeper relationship with Jesus? Could it be an act of worship just to stay home? I don't know what you're going to do with the challenge you've been given today, but I hope you will choose to do something, because you can change the world. Here's the big idea. You can change the world today, not someday. And the question is, will you? Will you decide today to partner with God to see the world change? Will you stop looking at yourself as just a kid and start looking at yourself as a kingdom worker? Somebody who's made to do something and be a part of God's story. To close up today, we're gonna play a song for you. It's called "Do Something." It's by a guy named Matthew West, and we invite you to take a listen and think about what God's made you to do to be a part of His story to save the world. Afterwards, we'll have some announcements about stuff coming up this week. So watch this whole thing through and think about what you're made to do something.
I woke up this morning, saw a world full of trouble now. I thought, how do we ever get so far down? And how's it ever gonna turn around? So I turned my eyes to heaven. I thought, God, why don't you do something? Well, I just couldn't bear the thought of people living in poverty, children sold into slavery. The thought disgusted me, so I shook my fist at heaven. I said, God, why don't you do something? He said, I did. Yeah. I created you. If not us, then who? If not me and you, right now. Well, it's time for us to do something. Yeah. If not now, then when will we see an end to all this pain? Oh, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. I'm so tired of talking about how we are God's hands and feet, but it's easier to say than to be. Live like angels of apathy. We'll tell ourselves it's alright, somebody else will do something. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of life with no desire. I don't wanna flame, I wanna fire. I wanna be the one who stands up and says, I'm gonna do something. If not us, then who? If not me and you, right now. It's time for us to do something. Yes, it is. Come on. If not now, then when will we see an end to all the not me and you. Right now, it's time for us to do something. If not now, then when will we see an end of this pain? Well, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. It's time for us to do something.
Hey guys, let's pray. God, thanks so much for this opportunity to be together. Thank you for allowing us and inviting us to be a part of what you're doing in the world, to be a part of your story. Would you help us to be safe but brave? Help us do what helps people. And maybe right now that's staying home. And would you help us to even do that well? But once we get a chance to get out again, Father, would you help us to shine at the role that you've given us to help the world to know you? In Jesus' name I pray it. Amen. Hey, I just want to say thank you so much for coming and hanging out today. You can find out more about what we're doing in our youth e-news that comes out Sunday mornings at 7 a.m. You can find that on our youth group Facebook page, or on our Twitter or our Instagram. You can see all that information there on the slide. Find out more about our youth groups on our website, ilovethischurch.com/youth, and you can see what we're doing regularly together. If you want to get connected every single day to our youth groups, every day we've got a text message that you can sign up for. It's got a devotion for you to start each day with Jesus. So if you text the word choose to 301-880-1543, that's choose to 301-880-1543. You can get signed up to get that text every day. Also, another way to get connected daily, we meet every day on Instagram at noon, and we pray together. So you'll see me or one of our youth workers or one of our students leading a prayer there, and that's every day at noon on Instagram. You can find us at Journeys Crossing YM. And for the next month, on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock, we're meeting online to have our midweek groups. And we'll send out a link on our Facebook page for you to be able to find us, where we'll do a video chat like we're about to do in our debriefing groups. Cool? All right, well, speaking of debriefing groups, we're going to head there at 12:15. So I'm not sure what time it is right now, but whatever time it is, you'll find the link to our video chat rooms in the description below this video. You may need to download the Ring Central Messages app or Zoom if you have that. You can go ahead and click the link once you've got the app downloaded. You can do it on your phone or on your laptop, but go ahead and do it now so that by the time we start our debriefing groups at about 12:15, you'll be ready to go. All right? All right, everybody. We'll see you at debriefing groups in a few minutes. Thank you so much for being a part at JC Youth Online today. We'll see you later.